We have some major news to discuss today as recent reports have surfaced highlighting the Blue Jays' interest in outfielder Cody Bellinger, and these two new reports have revealed that the Blue Jays seem to be seriously pursuing the outfielder. So I'm going to break that down in this episode of Jays Digest, as well as Yoshinobu Yamamoto. It seems the Jays are meeting with him soon, and there could be mutual interest there. So stay tuned for that and much more in this episode of Jays Digest. What's up, Jays fans? Nick Gosse, your host of Jays Digest, and we have a lot to discuss today. The transaction mill, the rumor mill, everything is super hot right now. The stove is hot. Tons of transactions are going down. We saw Hunter Renfroe sign earlier today, Michael Wacha. So many players are signing. The Jays have yet to make a move. However, there are some major updates regarding Cody Bellinger, regarding Yoshinobu Yamamoto, and just regarding the Jays in general. So I want to stay tuned for that. But before you do, a quick reminder to hit the subscribe button. Scroll down. About 80% or 70% of you guys who are watching right now are not subscribed. So if you aren't subscribed and you enjoy daily Jays content, make sure to hit that button. All right, let's get into the first topic of the day today, which is a major Cody Bellinger update. Now, Cody Bellinger is a guy we've discussed a lot on this channel, and yesterday a couple of reports from two very notable reporters. I know a lot of reporters out there after the Ohtani situation, we've all lost some faith, but these guys seem to have a lot of intel, and this is very, very interesting because it reveals the actual kind of truth behind what Cody Bellinger and the Blue Jays' mutual interest is and what kind of interest is there. So this originally dropped from John Heyman, and he had an article that basically came out and said the Blue Jays are predicted to pivot to Cody Bellinger after the Shohei Ohtani whiff. This dropped yesterday late at night around 8 Eastern, and he basically goes on to say in the article, the Jays are expected to be a player for star outfielder Cody Bellinger now they lost out on Ohtani. They seek a left-handed hitter, but the Cubs, of course, remain a threat. And again, he liked his time with the Cubs very much so. Now, when we're looking at this report and you actually dive in depth, he went on live stream at his dinner table and kind of revealed there's two major suitors remaining for Bellinger, and that is the Cubs and that is the Blue Jays. Obviously, we saw a couple of the other suitors make some big moves for other players, specifically the Giants. They signed another guy for over $100 million, and ultimately that probably takes him out of the Bellinger sweepstake because he was an outfielder. That being said, of course, there's still the Cubs and there's the Blue Jays remaining, and will the Blue Jays want to spend hundreds of millions of dollars on Cody Bellinger? We've had this conversation before, but it seems like the Jays are definitely pursuing him, and I think there's a reason they haven't made any of these other small moves so far in this offseason. We've seen Hunter Renfroe, he signed today for, I believe, 2 years, and I don't know the exact amount, maybe 20 million, 12, I think it was 12 million 2 years for Hunter Renfroe, and he was a guy that potentially the Jays could have been looking to target if they strike out on Cody Bellinger. Now, he signed with the Royals, and the AAV wasn't that much, it was about 6.5 million, so this kind of goes to highlight that maybe they have internal confidence that they could sign Cody Bellinger, and again, he's a former MVP caliber player. The past couple of seasons, last season was phenomenal. The 2 seasons before that were very bad. And the question really arises then is, will they be willing, will Rogers, will Ross Atkins, and Marshall Power be willing to give $200 to $300 million, potentially, probably on the lower side of that, probably around $200 million to a player over 6 years who struggled a lot in the past? That is the big question of the day, and that's the big question of the offseason so far for the Blue Jays. But when you're looking at other potential marquee free agents to get, he is the biggest fish remaining aside from Yamamoto, who we'll discuss later. But this also dropped later in the night from Michael Moreno. He is also a very notable reporter. In the video, he said that the Blue Jays are a team to watch for Cody Bellinger. So it just seems the stove is really heating up. And again, on his live stream, he said that the Blue Jays, in addition to Cody Bellinger, of course, we covered the Yelich yesterday, but they are pursuing Cody Bellinger and is down to two teams, which seems to be the Cubs and the Blue Jays, of course. Now, I think the Cubs might put out a significant offer for Cody Bellinger. He enjoyed his time there. We know that he's comfortable in Chicago because he had such a great season last year. MVP, almost MVP caliber season. He played very well. The thing is, he wasn't fully an MVP caliber player, but we saw hints of his former MVP self last season is what I meant to say. But the point is, if the Blue Jays need to make a move, and that is not a secret, and I think Cody Bellinger is probably the best option. We also know they're exploring the trade market a lot as well, but if they're going to make a big trade, you have to give up assets in that scenario, and I think the ideal scenario for Blue Jays and Blue Jays fans is maybe sign a guy like Cody Bellinger or Jorge Soler. Sign a guy who's going to give you power and you know what you're going to get, then make a big trade to pivot and fill the other holes. Because we're also thinking about third base with Matt Chapman. We don't know. He hasn't signed yet. We don't know if the Blue Jays are going to sign him. Who knows what their 1A plan is right now? It seems to be Cody Bellinger. That seems to be the guy they are actively going for. And then maybe if they strike out on him, they pivot to a Soler. They pivot to a potential trade of, I don't know, maybe even Alek Manoah to fill up that outfielder spot. They have a lot of holes to fill. Third base, second base, specifically left field. We do not have a left fielder as of now, unless you want to count Nathan Lucas, but he is not the guy who's going to be starting in the outfield for the Blue Jays. So I think ultimately they're going to make a big trade, and according to these multiple reports, again, the Cubs remain a big threat for Bellinger, and I think one of the bigger threats, it's going to be very tough to pry him away from Chicago, where he had such a great season. But they are pivoting to Cody Bellinger after the big Ohtani whiff, or whatever you want to call it at this point, which happened about a week ago. But I don't know. Let me know in the comment section what your thoughts are on Cody Bellinger. It seems the stove is getting more and more hot, and the longer he takes the sign, the more I'm almost believing that he might be headed to the Blue Jays, and I think they're going to up their offer, whether it's 6 years, 190, like I believe Peter predicted in yesterday or the day before his video, whether it's 6 years, 220. Will they be willing to go up in that $200 million range for an outfielder who just the season before last was a very, very poor player, and in 2022 and 2021 had a 41 OPS in 2021 and then a 66 OPS plus, that is, in 2022. So let me know your thoughts are on that in the comment section, because it's an interesting one, and I think once we make a move either way, I'll be happy with it. Though there is a lot of risk involved with Cody Bellinger, so maybe they try to address it in a different way. Now, let's move on to the second topic of the day, which is Yoshinobu Yamamoto update regarding the Blue Jays. And this came out a few days ago. I figured I'd cover it now. He has yet to sign. It seems like the favorites for Yamamoto are the Yankees and the Mets and the Dodgers. Those seem to be the three finalists, but it has been revealed that Yoshinobu Yamamoto will meet with the Blue Jays in the coming days. This was back on December 12th. The Yankees, Mets, and Giants have already met with him. And there are 2 or 3 more teams, including the Red Sox, that are expected to meet with him. Now, Yamamoto, we discussed him. You can go back, I don't know, about a week or two ago before the Ohtani stuff. We discussed Yamamoto. He is an unbelievable player. He's going to command unbelievable money. We're looking at potentially $300 million for a guy who has never pitched in the MLB. So if you're the Blue Jays, I don't know how competitive the Blue Jays are going to be regarding an offer, but it is a good sign that they're at least meeting with him. We saw them meet with Shohei Ohtani. They saw him make a competitive offer there. Whether he was actually considering the Blue Jays, we don't know. What we do know is that they're meeting with the Blue Jays and Yamamoto, which is a great sign going forward. And this came out from Carlos Berga. Take it with a grain of salt, but he's supposedly saying that the Yankees offered 9 years, $304 million. Now, we know the Blue Jays were willing to offer upwards or close to $700 million for Shohei Ohtani. But again, let's not forget that is a Shohei Ohtani budget. He brings in so much revenue on his own. That is not a budget that they can go and spend on Cody Bellinger, on Yamamoto. They can't combine that $700 million and go give $300 to Yamamoto, $200 to Bellinger, $100 to whoever else we want to give, a pitcher or something like that. They're not going to do that. They won't do that. They still might give a couple $100 million to some players, but ultimately, I don't know if the Jays are going to feel comfortable making an offer, if this is true, close to $300 million for Yoshinobu Yamamoto. And I'm also not sure what the interest level is regarding Yamamoto to the Blue Jays, but it is worth noting that they did meet, or they're going to meet. This happened 3 days ago, so we're unsure if they've met yet with the absolute Japan superstar of a pitcher who's going to be a great pitcher. He's 25 years old. He's in his prime, and he's going to get a 9-year deal, most likely. He's going to be in the MLB for a while, but giving and dishing out $900 million, or 9 years, $300 million to a player who hasn't even pitched in the MLB yet is crazy. But that'll wrap up the video. Let me know in the comment section what your thoughts are on this Cody Bellinger stuff. It's such an interesting situation because it could go very, very well if he returns to his MVP caliber form, or it could go very bad and be an albatross of a contract if we ultimately sign it and he doesn't perform to the level that we know he is capable of. Him being a good defender obviously makes it a bit better, but ultimately, we don't want to have what happened to Dalton Varsho happen to Cody Bellinger next year. But thank you guys for watching. Let me know in the comment section your thoughts. Check out our video from yesterday on your screen right now. And we'll see you guys in tomorrow's video, or depending, maybe later today if a transaction occurs. Cheers.